Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm really glad you're here joining me this week because I'm going to talk with you a little bit about something that's important to reflect on a little bit, to understand, make sure that you have a firm grasp on your organizational style. We're talking organizational styles today because this is an important thing to know about yourself and what your preferences are and how your brain cooperates kind of with your organizational techniques that you're going to use. Because if you are not using the techniques that are designed to mesh well with the way your brain works, it's actually going to cause you more conflict in your space. And so, if you are someone who has worked on your organization in the past and maybe just found, wow, this isn't working for me, this could be why. So, I really want you to kind of lean in and listen closely if you've struggled with this in the past, or maybe if you've just had trouble getting started. One thing that I find that's really common when folks are trying to get organized for the first time is they'll get on Pinterest, right? You'll get on Pinterest and you'll start scrolling and you'll find these gorgeous, Pinterest worthy, Instagram worthy, whatever photos of these beautifully organized homes, very aesthetically pleasing. Everything matches. The flat surfaces are totally clear of clutter. And people will say, like, oh my gosh, I want that. That's gorgeous. And maybe that Pinterest post or that Instagram post links you to the exact products that they used. And so you'll go and you'll buy all those products. And even if they, happen to physically fit in the space that you have, you may get them organized and then find that it just doesn't feel functional. And this idea of understanding your organizational style is what's going to unlock which of those aesthetically pleasing styles are going to work best for you. So, when it comes to organizational styles, we tend to split up into two camps. Now, this is not a black and white type of rule, right? You don't have to fit perfectly into one camp or another. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But we like to call these in the organizational world, we call these stuff in and stuff out. Are you a stuff in person or are you a stuff out person? Okay. And this is really important. In my role as a professional organizer, this is something that I am from the moment I set foot in your home. If I'm coming to help you organize, I am looking around your space and I am observing all of your different spaces to see, even if we're only working on one specific room, maybe it's your office or your closet or, whatever it may be, I'm still looking at other spaces as I walk into your home to kind of take note of whether I think you are potentially a stuff in or a stuff out, or if you just lean one way or the other. And of course, I'm going to ask lots of questions too to find out more about your organizational style and preferences. But these are really important things to know. So what does this all mean? What does it mean to be someone who leans towards stuff in or someone who leans towards stuff out? Well, if you are someone who prefers stuff in, you're someone who prefers to have your spaces clear. Okay, so think about the flat spaces, the horizontal spaces in your home, countertops, tabletops, end tables, vanities, all those kinds of things around your home, your dressers. Do you prefer to have them clear of clutter? Are you someone who likes that minimal visual stimuli when you have lots of items out on the countertops or your dresser has lots of items sitting on it? Is that something that causes you some stress? Does it cause you to feel a little bit overwhelmed? Does it make it difficult for you to function in your space? Another important thing about someone who leans stuff in You're going to be someone who knows and remembers what you have, even when it's put away behind a closed door. So you're going to lean towards storing your items behind a cabinet door, in a cabinet, in a vanity, behind, inside a drawer, in a closet. Okay. So you're going to want things to have a place where you can put them away and not see them, but then you are still someone who knows exactly what you have. Okay. On the other side of things, if you are stuff out preferential, then you like to have your things in plain sight. Having items out on your countertops, having things on your dresser, having things out on your vanity, on your end tables, whatever it may be, that does not cause you stress. It doesn't cause you to feel overwhelmed. You like to have things out in plain sight. And in fact, it helps you to be able to see your items. You're going to use those items more frequently. And for you, the saying of out of sight, out of mind really rings true. When you get things put away, when you try to put things away in cabinets or closets or wherever it may be, suddenly you forget that you have those things. And so either they're not getting used, or you may be going out and rebuying those items because you forget that you have them put away somewhere. Something else kind of to think about. Now, this can be a little bit, extreme one way or the other, but stuff in people when you're buying bins, whether it's bins that are going to go in like one of those cubby storage systems, that may be a case where you absolutely want to lean into this. But even, bins for your closet or other spaces, you're going to tend to lean towards opaque bins. Why? Because it cuts down again on that visual stimuli that you see. So stuff in, folks, even when they're utilizing bins, they're going to want those bins to be in such a way that they can't see what's inside of them. Okay. Whereas stuff out, folks might utilize bins, whether it's, out on a countertop or in some of those cubby systems, like I mentioned, or whether it's in a closet or in another storage area, but they're going to want to utilize clear bins again, so that they can see what they have, to be able to know more easily that they have those things and can access them more easily when they have those visual cues of being able to see them. Okay. Now, of course, like I mentioned, it's not always black and white. You may lean one way or another in general. Like for myself, I tend to lean towards being a stuff in person. I do get a little bit overwhelmed by, visual stimuli when my countertops get a little bit cluttered or things are getting left out. I've got two young boys, and so that it happens, right? Life gets busy, and papers from school come home, and they end up on the counter, and then the mail comes in and gets set down on the counter, and then suddenly dishes and things are showing up at places, and that's really all it takes for me to go, whoa, okay, I need to take care of this. I need to take care of this paperwork. I need to take care of these bills. I need to get the dishes cleared off into the dishwasher or cleaned or whatever and take care of them. However, there are specific areas where I have found that using a stuff in method for me has caused me to, use my items less frequently. So there are times when that out of sight, out of mind idea that may lean me more towards stuff out kicks in for me. And so I'm definitely a combination person. So you'll see this reflected in my house. One, really glaring example of this for me was my jewelry. I don't wear a ton of jewelry, but I really love fun earrings. If you're watching this on YouTube, or if you've ever watched, any of these podcast episodes on YouTube, you've seen some of my fun earrings. I do love fun earrings, but I found that, I didn't have a great way to organize them for a while. And I tried to use a stuff in system and put them away in a drawer and have them, really nicely organized there in the drawer. But I stopped wearing all of my earrings. I tended to just grab the same pair of earrings quickly over and over again, or not wear earrings at all. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't working for me. I want to see my earrings. I want to have easier access to them. I want to, be able to see them as I'm finishing getting dressed and go, ooh, which earrings do I want to put on today, with this outfit? And so I had to rethink that and be okay with the fact that my jewelry was going to be out. But I found a really functional, aesthetically pleasing way for them to be out. And now they have this great little organizer that sits on top of my dresser. And I see them every time I go to get dressed because it sits on my dresser, which is right next to my closet. And so all my clothes are right there. So as I get myself ready for the day, then I immediately see my jewelry and pick out what I want to wear to go with my outfit and complement my outfit that day. And so that helps. I also mentioned with the idea of bins that stuff in folks tend to lean towards opaque bins, something that they can't see through. And while that's true for me and like cubby organizers in my home, when it comes to my pantry, I prefer clear bins because while I do love having those items in my pantry and I can close that door, when I open the door to my pantry, when I've tried opaque bins in the past, it has made it a little bit more difficult for me to see what I have. And then I end up duplicate buying items, which wastes money, wastes space, causes more clutter for me. And so when I switched to clear bins in my pantry, I found that that really alleviated a lot of that for me because I was able to see through those bins, see exactly what I had really easily. Even if one of my kids was helping me check, sometimes I'm sitting at the table looking at our meal plan, making my grocery list, and one of my kids will come through the kitchen. I'll say, hey, will you peek in the pantry and see if we have XYZ? And, my kiddos are awesome about helping me out with stuff like that. And so it made it easier for them to look and see it as well. So sometimes you're kind of combining styles within the house, but again, you can even be a combination person. Now, why is this so important? Right? Because as I mentioned earlier, you may see something that looks really pretty and try it out. If you're a stuff out person and you try out a stuff in organizing technique where you're going to make things kind of disappear on you, it's going to cause you problems. And vice versa. If you're a stuff in person and say an organizer like myself comes in and you ask that organizer, this is a really common question that I get, by the way. They'll say, hey, Lauren, how would you organize this? Or how do you organize this in your home? Because they think, she's the professional organizer. She knows best. Just because that's how I organize it in my house doesn't mean it's going to be the best fit for you. Now, as a professional organizer, I understand and realize that. And I know that there's different organizational styles. And so my question right back to them often is, what do you think is going to work best for you? Here are some ideas that I have. And usually I try to offer them some stuff in and stuff out ideas if I'm not really clear yet on what their organizational style is. That kind of comes back to those questions that I ask my clients to help understand them better and their needs so that we can set up a system that's really, really functional for them, because that is the ultimate goal, right? When you create this functional system for yourself, you are creating a support system, a platform, kind of that launching off place, a really firm, can't quite put my finger on the right word here, foundation. There we go. A really firm foundation for yourself to then be able to step into living a calmer, less overwhelmed, less stressed life. And that, my friend, is the ultimate goal, right? And so I want you to know that whether you are working through your organizing journey on your own or with a professional organizer, I want you to be able to take a step back and understand what kinds of systems are going to work best for you. Are you stuff in, stuff out, or a combination of the two? And even when you're a combination, you may find that you favor stuff in certain areas of your home, stuff out in other areas of your home, just like I do. And so being really specific and knowing that about yourself is going to help set you up for success in organizing right from the get-go. All right, my friends, that's it for today. I hope you are staying organized from all angles. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can find me on Instagram at declutter.360. Feel free to comment on any of my posts or send me a DM and we can chat and I can help you out with any questions you may have about organizing in your own spaces. Until next time, I'm Lauren, and I'll see you soon.